Hello everyone and welcome to another Premier Injuries Daily Update. We're speaking ahead of game week 27 where Burnley have a double and there are blanks for Liverpool, Arsenal and Chelsea. But we're kicking off with team news from Southampton and Norwich, the early FPL deadline. That game is on Friday evening and we've already heard from Ralph Hasenhüttl. He confirms that Roman Perraud is back after recovering from COVID. Now, for those owners of Tino Livramento or Kyle Walker-Phillips, that might be a concern. But following last weekend's win over Everton, a 2-0 home result, I think the Saints could be unchanged. Long-term absentees remain the same. For Norwich, Dean Smith basically confirms that Adam Eder, he's had surgery on his knee and won't return again this campaign. And also Andrew Omodei, ongoing back issue, are the only definite injury absentees. Now that throws Tim Krul back into the mix. He's been missing for around about 5 to 6 weeks with a shoulder problem. Also, we see the likes of Jakob Sorensen, Luka Rupp come back in, although they do lack fitness after a period on the sidelines. On to Brighton. We heard from Graham Potter on Thursday afternoon. Lewis Dunk, he returns after his suspension. We expect him to come straight into that Seagulls backline, particularly after that 3-0 home defeat to Burnley. Who makes way for the skipper? Graham Potter has a couple of options. My own thoughts would be that we see maybe a flat back four with Tariq Lamptey on the right. That will facilitate Joel Veltman to play alongside Lewis Dunk with Cucurella on the left. And that means Shane Duffy would miss out. The game's probably going to come too soon for Enoch Mwepu. He's been missing since January because of a hamstring problem. And also Adam Webster, he suffered a groin injury, keeping him out last weekend. And he's also suffered a setback in training. So that's likely to keep him out of the equation. Leeds, a lot of people may be interested in Tottenham assets, given the fact that Leeds are shipping goals for fun. I think that's 16 in 4. So not great. And they got a 6-0 hammering off Liverpool midweek. And their backline, massively hampered by injuries. This time, the absence of Diego Llorente, hamstring problem. He wasn't able to face Liverpool. We didn't have any update from Marcelo Bielsa post-match, but given the fact that it's been a quick turnaround from their game last weekend, I would say he's a major doubt. However, there is a slim chance that Robin Koch could return. He is going through concussion protocol. Now, what it would mean is that return to play and that protocol would have to go smoothly without any setbacks, and he would have to tick off each day complete without any kind of reaction. Only then would that give him a chance of playing. Of course, the earliest you can return in an enhanced care setting is 6 days. Now, Marcelo Bielsa did stress that his enforced withdrawal was because of blood and a knock to the head and not concussion symptoms, although the club later released a statement saying that he's going through the protocols, maybe as a precautionary measure. Elsewhere, for Burnley, been on a great run, back-to-back wins, fantastic 1-0 performance over Tottenham. There's a few question marks with regards to some of their players. Sean Dyche had been confident that Maxwell Cornet would recover from a foot/Achilles problem. For that match, he wasn't, and that allowed Jay Rodriguez to stay up front in that 4-4-2 with Wout Weghorst. And I would expect those two to start the game again, although Sean Dyche has said that Cornet will have a late fitness test. It's nothing too serious, but it is just a little bit painful. A lot of people asking about maybe some of those defensive assets, particularly as Burnley are the only team with a double game week. And on the left-hand side, Eric Peters offers a very cheap way into that Burnley backline, but worries that Charlie Taylor will be in and around that first team squad. However, after his foot problem, he does lack fitness and a little bit of sharpness. So for me, Eric Peters should be locked in for this double game week, but rest assured he won't be too far away. Ashley Westwood as well, he's also pushing for a return. He's been cleared following COVID protocol, but Jack Cork came in and he's done a great job. So again, I don't expect too many changes in that Burnley lineup. Elsewhere, not Premier League related, but ahead of the Carabao Cup on Sunday, we have heard that Diego Jota has an outside chance of recovering from an ankle ligament problem. Jurgen Klopp had said that the initial setback wasn't as serious as first thought. However, Roberto Firmino is out. Although Jurgen Klopp wouldn't go as far as to say that midweek, he did say after last weekend's match that he expected him to be out for a while, and that's certainly the case where he will not recover in time for this one. For Chelsea, there were doubts over Mateo Kovacic and Hakim Ziyech after they were forced off in the Champions League. However, Thomas Tuchel is hopeful that both of those players could return to make the squad. Leicester, they don't play until next Tuesday, although they have a Europa Conference tie at Randers at the time of recording coming up. But Leicester, yeah, they're playing in Burnley's second double, and we have seen Jamie Vardy back on the training pitches. That's in line with comments from Brendan Rodgers, who said the strike was around about 7 to 10 days away following last weekend's defeat to Wolves. However, I would expect any involvement to come from the bench. He did urge caution over the potential return of Wesley Fofana. He's been out for a significant amount of time following a fractured fibula and also dislocated ankle. He rejoined the group in training from last Friday, but he will be managed very, very carefully. For Newcastle supporters, some good and some bad news with regards to team news ahead of their trip to Brentford. First of all, we've seen an Instagram update from Alan San Maxim. Now, he's currently in Monaco. This is around 3 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. We found he's in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber and he's recovering. He's in rehab. So we don't know if he's going to recover in time for that. Now, typically, when you speak to medical departments, what the expectation is, if a player can't take part in full training ahead of the game, they will not be considered. And given the time frames and where he currently is, it looks highly unlikely at this moment in time. Although Eddie Howe said it wasn't too serious, it's more impact injury around that calf area. However, better news with regards to Ryan Fraser. He came off with West Ham. What looks to be a fatigue-related hamstring problem, maybe just a touch of cramp. And also Javier Manquillo, he's back in contention after recovering from his own ankle problem. Now he will compete or vie with Emil Kraft on the right-hand side for that right-back spot. I don't expect much change in that back four. That's the only possible switch I would make, with Jamal Lascelles looks set for another place on the bench with Dan Burn paired alongside Fabian Shaw. And a quick update from Watford from midweek. Of course, they lost at home to Crystal Palace 4-1. Josh King came off early in the second half, around about that 51 minutes. And that was injury related, had a very quiet game. Roy Hodgson revealed that the striker had picked up a back problem in training. He was patched up, put out there, but hadn't really recovered and took another knock. So that's question marks over his availability. And Hernandez could come in for him if he doesn't feel he's 100%. And finally, Arthur Masuwaku, West Ham, there were reports that he could return to the matchday squad. Of course, he has an ongoing knee problem that initially has been managed conservatively by the club. If it didn't respond, it did talk about surgery, but it looks as if he has progressed sufficiently to be considered. So that's it for now. Like I say, we have the early FPL deadline, so we may not have another video drop before the deadline, but of course, everything will be added to the premierinjuries.com injury table and also my @Ben Dinnery Twitter timeline. So until the next time, speak to you again soon.